Hello everybody, this is part 2 of the pivot table series. If you haven't checked out my previous video on working with pivot tables and working with dates, you can check that out. But this is the same file, just leaving off where I was before this. And what I'd like to do with this particular set of data is see not only my raw numbers where we have all these dollars, but I'd like to see percentages. I'd like to know how did each of these individual months and each of these individual salespeople account for by percentages, because that kind of tells me maybe a little bit better of a story of what's going on with these more than the numbers do. It's maybe a little bit quicker and faster to sort of identify things. So I'm still at this pivot table, and if you need any review on how to create pivot tables from the beginning, you can check out my previous video on that. So how do we do that? Let me go ahead and reorganize this so we can see all of my fields. So let me just scroll this down, and you'll notice how I have sum of, and that's what we're seeing here, all of these, sum of my order amount. If I want to do a percentage, I actually have to bring this in all over again. So I'm just going to drag this down, and I'm going to pretty much get the same exact numbers that I have here, not formatted as dollars, but I don't want to see them as dollars, but we're working with the same data. We just have to tell Excel that we want it to be shown as percentages. So it's pretty easy to do that. So all we need to do is simply right click on any one of these, and just like we may have seen in my last video, they actually come together as like a grouping of them. So you only have to do it in one to say, hey, listen, show this as a percentage, not as this raw data. So when I right click, you're going to see we get a lot of options. In the last video we did number format, and you're going to see there's a few other things you can sort. You can even say summarize value as, maybe you don't want to do a sum, you can do a, you want to count how many there were, you want to say the average, right? Maybe we'll do that right after this. Okay, but what I'm concerned with now is just showing the values as what? You can see here I can do it as the total grand total. What percentage did Buchanan in January get? Or maybe I only care about the column total. So let's just check out both of these. I'm going to say grand total, and you can see, fantastic. This is going to be, for Buchanan in January, he had 0.8%. Okay, that's wonderful. And I'm just going to go ahead and rename this, double click it, and I'm just going to say percent of grand total. All right, that's great. Now let's do that again. And this time it's going to be the percent of the column total. See what that shows. And now you can see here, this adds up to 100%, this added up to 5.6%, but you can see this is 5.6% of the entire total, because there's a lot of data here. So this 0.8% really only shows me like a drop in the bucket. Or in this case, I'm really just trying to compare, right, how was January compared to February for Buchanan, right? How was January through February and March, etc. for Callahan? So let me go ahead and double click on this. I'm going to say percent by month. And there we go. We can say what each person did by month. You can see each for each month per person, comparing each month to itself, and then each person within itself. And then you can also see by grand total how they did for the entire thing. Okay, so pretty valuable stuff there. All right, and then let me show you one last thing, as I promised. We might want to know, well, how many sales did each person have? So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick little count for each of these. So once again, I want to bring in the order amount, drag that in, and then again, it doesn't automatically, it just sums it. So I'm going to right click on this, and this time I'm going to say summarize values by, I'm going to choose count. And you can see I get a whole bunch of variations here. So okay, so we just had 4 for January. Okay, this is 4 for February, etc. And you can see there's going to be some variation. Callahan had a lot more, whatever it is. So this is going to help tell your story a little bit better, and it kind of gives a little bit of sort of color to these numbers a little bit more. So let me go ahead and just change that, double click on it. I'm going to say count sales by month. All right, again, make it clear there. All right, so that's the next level of pivot tables, understanding how we can bring in percentages of the grand total, percentages by each individual column, and also how you can do counting, you can do averaging, you can do minimum, maximum, something that's going to be an alternative to working with summing up. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful for you. If you have any questions or requests, you can always reach out to me through the YouTube channel, through my YouTube channel, and through my LinkedIn page, as well as through my website, sftechtraining.com, and email me through there. All right, look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thanks for watching.